Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Wrestle YouTube channel. I'm Aerons, and it's time to discuss AEW Dynamite. Yes, indeed, we cover both shows now on a Wednesday night, so you can't moan at me on social media. Oh, you don't like AEW, you only like WWE NXT. Well, that's kind of true. But I actually do like some parts of AEW Dynamite. Case in point, the opener. Matt Hardy teams with my boy, Hangman Page, to take on TH2, who also are my boys, Angelico and Jack Evans. Love Angelico in particular, obviously, huge man crush for him. Just a fantastic guy, somebody I've had the chance to chat with at shows and things like that. He's just an awesome human being, and I'm really happy that Angelico gets to shine because he's a guy who deserves it. Now, this match felt a bit disjointed in places, but overall was quite good, and it proved that Hangman Page is definitely a big star in terms of AEW. I can do without the big money Matt gimmick. Obviously, last week he got Hangman Page drunk, and obviously that was going to play into the end of this match. But the match itself was fine. A couple of high-profile botches, though. Now, I'm not going to harp on for too long about these botches. It definitely feels like AEW has a lot more, and a lot of that has to do with this frantic pace. Calm down. I know that you're going to get this with Jack Evans, because he is an insane high flyer, but just chill out a little bit. He goes for the Phoenix Splash and he completely misses it. It looks shit. And the problem with something like that isn't necessarily that, I don't expect it to happen, because high risk, high reward. That's the whole idea behind it. But it takes you out of the moment. If you're suspending your disbelief, if you're trying to be a mark like me, I try and watch this stuff as a genuine fan, not some over-the-top, overbearing smark, even though that's probably what you think I am on this channel. But I try and give constructive criticism. I'm watching this, I'm trying to enjoy it for what it is, and then that happens, and you think, oh, okay, well, it's hard for me to then kind of watch this as a serious athletic contest, because I've just seen this guy completely blow it, and then it's made worse by the fact that Matt Hardy kind of, almost gets pinned by it, and you think, he didn't touch it, really. Problems like that. I know it's not something that's going to happen regularly, but it was enough to make me kind of and it knocked me out of my enjoyment just a little bit. Now, at the end of the match, obviously, Hangman Page and Matt Hardy get the win. Bit of a shame to see TH2 jobbing so much. A little bit strange as well, actually, that we keep seeing the actual tag teams lose. How often is it that this company, you've got the biggest and most stacked tag division in the world, and yet somehow you have managed to completely underwhelm the entire world with it? I do not understand it. We'll get into that a little bit more with the tag team title match, etc., and what's going on after that. But Hangman Page obviously essentially gets one over on Matt Hardy, because he says, haha, you didn't pay attention to the contract that I signed, did you? Because I've got a match with you at Revolution, and if I win, I get all your money. Cool. And then Matt Hardy's like, okay, fine. But if I win, I get all of your money. Don't like that. I am a wrestling fan. I am, for lack of intents and purposes, a very poor individual. I make do with an extraordinarily small amount of money. So when I watch this, and I'm watching these two guys who are supposed to be, particularly Hangman Page, who's supposed to be really relatable to us, when he's saying, yeah, I'm gonna beat you and take all your money because I like money. Great. Neither of you come across as sympathetic or emotionally investable in any sense. And then, of course, Jackson DeVille comes down with the contract. I thought that was quite cool. I kind of popped, just because I'm a huge NFL mark, and I go to watch the NFL games at Wembley in the UK, and as a lot of people will know, unfortunately, they're trying to shove the Jacksonville Jaguars down our throats as the UK franchise. Go fuck yourselves. I ain't got time for the London Jaguars, baby. It's Broncos till I die. But ultimately, it was nice to see him. Turns out it wasn't actually him, though, and he was looking a bit on the thin side. And of course, off comes the head of Jackson DeVille, and it's one of Private Party, and they start laying the boots in to Hangman Page. By the way, whoever thought it was a good idea for one member of Private Party to use Jackson DeVille's head as a weapon? Fuck off. What kind of carnival bullshit is that? Have you ever hit somebody with a pillow over the head? It's funny and it's giggly and not in the slightest bit violent. So, yeah, do better. It just looked too stupid and too carny. But the one saving grace of this, of course, is the fact that the Dark Order make the save. And even my cold heart loves this. Oh, I love the warmth and the excitement. I love the fact that the Dark Order they love Hangman Page. Seeing -1 waving them down. Come and save Hangman. It worked for me. I liked that. That was a feel-good moment, so I appreciated that. Something else that's a really good feel-good moment for me is seeing good women's wrestling, because AEW doesn't really believe in women's wrestling. And don't be giving me all this, yeah, they've got this women's tournament going on. What are you talking about? Yeah, it's only taken 2 years to get to this point where we can actually start using some women's talent. Congratulations. Serena Deeb, the NWA Women's Champion, takes on Rio in the first round of the United States bracket. Of course, I covered all of the Japanese bracket, the first round matches for this channel as well, and you can check that out too. Hopefully a little card will be on the screen right now for you to check that out. I thoroughly recommend that you do, and obviously it would be very nice to see what you think about the Japanese side of things in AEW's women's bracket. But this match was excellent. It was really good, and the reason it was really good is because it was two high-quality professionals. These are two of the best women they have. Let's be honest though, Serena Deeb is an NWA Women's Champion, so saying that she's an AEW wrestler, so to speak, is a little bit false in that regard. I see her as an NWA talent who's currently moonlighting in AEW. I'm sorry, but that's just the way it is. Don't know if she's actually signed or not yet. Don't really care, to be honest. Just glad to see some high-quality women's wrestling on this show. And you could argue that they almost did steal the show. This was definitely one of the more, shall we say, well put together and better psychological matches of the night. Now, the knock, of course, that people will say to me is, wait a minute, you don't like Marco Stunt. You don't think it's realistic when small wrestlers, really tiny wrestlers, get in the ring with giants and whatnot. There's not that much of a size disparity between these two. Riho's just a lot lighter, but Serena Deeb's hardly fucking 300 pounds, is she? This is what 350 pounds looks like, okay? Serena Deeb is looking a lot better than that. By the way, she is in whopper condition, shredded. Love this match. The only thing that I could nitpick about was the selling of the knee. Overall, I thought she did a great job, but it frustrated me that you had these moments where the trainer's looking at Serena Deeb, oh my god, the knee, are you okay to continue? But then there'd be moments after that where she'd be squatting on it, and you just thought, if you've got a really bad knee, the last thing you want to be doing is applying any pressure onto it. And there are quite a few moments where she kind of no-sold the knee, adrenaline, which is just a cheap excuse by commentary, and she would then just go ahead and do some sort of ridiculous power move, and you thought, okay, well, if your knee's really that shit, it shouldn't buckle out just when it suits you. It should buckle out pretty much all the time. For anyone who's tried to walk on a bad knee, they'll know what I'm talking about. But actually, kind of an upset, despite the knee injury, Riho picks up the win. I understand that. I would have preferred Serena Deeb to go through, and I actually think it would have made more sense from a storyline perspective, because the winner of this will face Thunder Rosa in the semi-finals, and obviously Thunder Rosa being dethroned by Serena Deeb as NWA Women's Champion would have been a perfect way to kind of set things up a little bit more. But that being said, if you kind of then make it for the NWA Women's Champion, the argument could be, okay, well, she's now got to defend it for the rest of the tournament, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, you're booking yourself into a corner. But I think Thunder Rosa versus Serena Deeb, for me, just has a bit more marquee appeal. But that being said, I do like Riho. She's very cute. She's very adorable. She's got a beautiful smile. She just radiates energy. When I was at the first ever Dynamite, yes, I actually went to see the first Dynamite. People can't believe that now, but I do want AEW to be successful, and that's why I flew out to Washington to see it. And I got to see Riho versus Nyla Rose when they crowned the first ever women's champion, and that was a fucking phenomenal matchup. I love that match, and that was the match which, to be honest, garnered the biggest response for anyone who was there, and for anyone watching it back. They'll notice the crowd were just so hot for that match because they built the storyline beautifully. So I've got a lot of time for Riho, and I'm looking forward to seeing what she can do in the next round. It was a good match. It was a good match. Tell you what wasn't a good match. Why the Chaos Project on my TV? Okay, so Luffa, right? Luffa versus Orange Cassidy. Oh, how the mighty have fallen. Now, I'm not a huge mark for Orange Cassidy. I don't hate him with the vitriol of a Jim Cornette or whatever. I think he's done very well and he's very smart. And if someone had said to me, I want you to go out there and pretend you can't be asked and I'm going to give you thousands of dollars to do so, thank you very much. So, good for you, Sunshine. And he's actually a really good worker. But the problem is that his gimmick, it's got such a low ceiling. And they managed to shatter that somewhat by having him beat Chris Jericho. He got some high-profile wins against high-profile talents. He even had TNT title matches with Cody. You know, he took Cody to the limit, and some would argue should have beaten him kayfabe-wise. Now he's in a match with Luffa, and good old Chuck Taylor's at ringside with him again. By the way, Chuck Taylor looks awful. I'm sorry, but he does. Like, far be it from me to have a go at people's, image and condition, but I'm not the one on national TV, mate. And if Chuck Taylor came for me on Twitter, I'd point this out to him, like, yeah, I probably do look worse than you overall, mate, but I can guarantee you that I would look a lot better if I was required to be on national television. He looks a fucking state. He just looks like your classic Californian fuckboy, He's like, hey, what's up, man? He looks like a far less impressive version of Matt Riddle in many ways. It's actually quite depressing. He's at ringside. Luffa, right? I'm not one of these guys who likes really laying into wrestlers in terms of their looking at, but he looks like a pile of shit. And he wrestles like a pile of shit too. I don't have to be an expert to tell you that. And when I see this big, fat, bold guy with dodgy face paint who looks suspiciously like a sex offender on my TV screen, I think, well, there are a lot of people who look like that. Why is this guy so special? What, because he was apparently famous in Japan? And then I found out he isn't actually even that famous in Japan. He was like a deathmatch guy in Japan. He wasn't even that good at it. It's more a case of longevity than anything else. But there are so many other guys who I think deserve to be in this position. And this is what frustrates me about it. I would never expect to see someone like Luffa on WWE NXT because they take their wrestling just a little bit more seriously. And Serpentico, by the way, is just some skinny guy in a mask. Whoopee. Don't care about him either. Don't see the appeal of the Chaos Project whatsoever. A lot of people who sent in their votes for Worst Tag Team of the Year gave it to Chaos Project. We actually didn't even think about them because we were so lethargic about the subject. But I don't care about Orange Cassidy versus Luffa. And of course, Orange Cassidy wins with the Orange Punch, which, by the way, is fucking terrible too. I don't give a shit. What a terrible, terrible match. This is the kind of match where I think, sorry, this is why I would much rather watch WWE NXT, and I'm definitely going to continue to watch NXT Live and this after the fact, because I've got no time to watch a guy like Luffa or Orange Cassidy. And yeah, there will be a rule now in effect. Every time one of these two is on the screen, if they're wrestling another scrub, if Luffa's on the screen indefinitely, I'm just going to start fast forwarding, because ain't nobody got time for that. Simple as that. What I do have time for is a whopper tag team title match. The Young Bucks defending against formerly LAX, now Proud and Powerful. I have been on my high horse for some time about this. This is a fantastic matchup, and this is the kind of match which will make me tune into Dynamite every week, even though I'm not a huge fan of the Young Bucks. However, this is systematic of your problem. This is the first time Proud and Powerful have had a tag team title match. They have been in this company for a year and a half. They were literally the best tag team in the world for nigh on 2 years. And this is their first time getting a crack at the tag titles. So SCU have been tag team champions. We've had singles guys, Hangman Page and Kenny Omega as tag team champions. An army of different people. Butcher and the Blade, TH2, all sorts of people have had tag team title shots, but not Proud and Powerful. And then you throw it away on an episode of Dynamite because you're so obsessed with beating NXT in the ratings by 100 or so thousand, where nobody really gives a shit anyway. Congratulations, you're beating WWE's developmental in the ratings. That's not something to shout home about. I don't get it. I don't understand why it's taken this long for them to be considered viable contenders for the tag titles. And they've already beaten the Young Bucks as well. So that doesn't make sense either. Now, you knew the Young Bucks were going to win, so that kind of really hampered my expectations of what to see from this. But this match was fantastic. This was one of the best Young Bucks matches I've seen, because they didn't just run around like tassel-wearing flippy midget twats. They actually went out there and wrestled properly and wrestled a good, solid pace alongside Proud and Powerful. And surprise, when they were in the ring with guys who take this business seriously and do this business better than most, they looked fantastic. And if the Young Bucks turn up every week and work like this, great. They don't really know whether they're heels or faces. Are they faces? Are they not? You know, I think Don Callis is kind of trying to remove them and replace them with the Good Brothers. That's the idea. Kenny's still trying to build up this kind of thing of like, yeah, they're still my friends. And they were watching backstage. it's all over the place. It's very clusterfucky. I don't care. So I just watched this match for what it was. Two good tag teams. One world-class tag team, obviously, in Proud and Powerful, and one, shall we say, very overrated tag team in the Young Bucks. But it was great nonetheless. Fantastic match. Of course, the Young Bucks win. That's a bit of a shame, but whatever. It is what it is. And of course, at the end of it, the Inner Circle, they get involved. MJF gets caught, of course, halfway through the match and ejected. So after the match, they come down to get themselves some. They lay waste to the Young Bucks. The Good Brothers kind of saunter down and kind of, very uninterested in making the save and just kind of get in last second. And we're obviously building to somewhat of an implosion between the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega. And I don't fucking care. Once again, you've put the tag titles on people to further a storyline that doesn't involve the tag titles at all. Can we please put those belts on people that mean something, like FTR or Proud and Powerful or Jurassic Express? These are all teams that could probably do the business a lot better. I'm so sick and tired of these belts being used as a plot device and nothing more. It cheapens it. It does. It cheapens it as far as I'm concerned. But it was a great match. I'm never going to take that away from them. It was a good match. I don't really care about FTR versus the Seidel brothers, and I certainly don't care about the storyline involved here. Why are you abducting a midget, by the way? When FTR left WWE, there was a big hoo-ha about, we want to be taken more seriously as wrestlers. We don't want to be shaving each other's backs in the shower. When they were in WWE, they were regularly feuding with world-class tag teams like The New Day with the Usos. When they were in NXT, they were having the Match of the Year candidates all the time with guys like DIY and AOP and Sanity and Undisputed Era. And now it's like, yeah, great, we're abducting midgets and cutting horns off of a dinosaur mask. Fuck you. Not FTR, fuck you, AEW. What terrible use of FTR. Arguably the best tag team of the modern era. Definitely up there alongside, for my money, the Usos, Proud and Powerful, and the North. What the fuck are you doing? Like, I don't care about this. At the end of this match, they're beating down the Seidel brothers, who they beat. Who cares about that match? I don't. I like the Seidel brothers, but they're so vanilla. They're just another insert tag team that can flip around. That's great. Sorry, Aaron Cruz. I know Matt Seidel's your favourite wrestler, and I've got a lot of love for Matt Seidel, but I don't give a shit about this. I don't care. There's that little promo, the mask is off, and you're thinking, oh, cool, we're going to get Luchasaurus without a mask. Is he going to actually get rid of this gimmick? Because, to be honest, it kind of feels like it's very much reached its ceiling, and he's not a great promo guy. And really, the only thing that's good about Jurassic Express at this point for me is the fact that Jungle Boy could really break out as a big-time face. Nah, they're just going to turn up as normal. Marco Stunt's running around going, yeah, like some dumb cheerleader. I've got no time for that. Get him off the fucking screen. Utter waste of my fucking time. I just don't fucking care. What are you doing? This is FTR, one of the best tag teams of all time of the modern era. Why are they abducting midgets? Why are they at war with a guy pretending to be a dinosaur? What the fuck is this? And also, you put the tag belts on the Young Bucks, and this is the best you can do for FTR. If I'm FTR, I want out of my contract and I want to go to NJPW where I can be taken fucking seriously as a wrestler. Because, I'm sorry, their use of FTR has been borderline pathetic since they came in the door. They were fresh for a little bit, they finally got the tag titles, and then ever since, it's just been... I'm sorry, but if you honestly think this is the best run FTR have had, you don't know a fucking thing about wrestling. And I know that the FTR lads will probably get on Twitter and throw a load of fucking hatred at anyone who dares to critique what they're doing in AEW. But I'm sorry, you are so much better in WWE than you are in AEW. This is a joke. I've got no time for it. It's a shame because these two guys are world class. You've got Tully Blanchard in your corner as well. What in God's name is going on? No time for it. Absolutely no time for it. Terrible. Main event was actually quite good, by the way. Now, before I talk about the main event, I must very briefly talk about Shaquille O'Neal and Jade Cargill. So, they made a big fuss on commentary about the fact we were going to see Shaquille O'Neal. We're going to see how he's training. You fucking lying sacks of shite. We're not going to see that. Now, apparently, this big... commercial tag team match, Cody and Red Velvet versus Shaquille O'Neal and Jade Cargill, this is going to take place on Dynamite on March the 3rd. The Dynamite that is the go-home show to Revolution. So you can't even bother to put it on pay-per-view. So you're just going to give this away for free on TV. No idea. And if the argument is, well, Shaquille O'Neal's got, TNT obligations or he's got basketball obligations for whatever reason, Fuck you. Well, I don't care about this. Jade Cargill, by the way, what a specimen this woman is. If she's not on a full-time contract after this, you are doing something wrong. Although, it's probably best you don't, because she looks like she could run over everyone in the division. Now, whether she can wrestle or not remains to be seen, obviously, and I'm looking forward to this match solely for that, but I do not care about Shaquille O'Neal. I do not care about Cody Rhodes flaunting around. Oh, look at me, I'm hanging around with celebrities. You're getting just as bad as the other lot now, aren't you? You're getting just as bad as the rest of your elite bum buddies. Hanging around with celebrities. Believe in your own hype. Sorry, mate. Do better. Cody Rhodes is a huge star in my book and one of the best workers they have. And he's one of the few guys who can really bridge that gap between wrestling and sports entertainment that a lot of these guys can't do. Okay, he can definitely work both styles, AEW and WWE styles, and he is a really palatable and exciting superstar. Why am I watching him hanging around with Snoop Dogg, hanging around with Shaquille O'Neal, and people will say, well, what about Bad Bunny? Bad Bunny isn't out there standing next to your main event star, taking up limelight from people who need it. Why is Shaquille O'Neal on this broadcast? By the way, the training montage. Jade Cargill looks in incredible shape. I don't need to see her train because her body speaks for itself. I've never seen a woman in better shape in all my life. Shaquille O'Neal throws a couple of basketball hoops. That's it. Great. Don't care. Why is this on my TV? Get off my TV. It's rubbish. It's absolutely rubbish. And people saying, yeah, well, it's celebrity crossover. He gets eyes on AEW. That's great. You can do that without having Shaquille O'Neal in a fucking match. That match is going to be atrocious. I can just sense it. And I'm going to watch it because it's going to be a car crash. That's why I'm going to watch it. It's comedic is what it is. Now, the show started with someone I loved in Hangman Page. And it finished with something I love because I love all 6 men in the main event. Eddie Kingston and Butcher and the Blade versus Jon Moxley. Moxley! Yeah, I can do it too, Justin Roberts. I can announce like I'm taking a shit. You're not special. Stop trying to put yourself over, you turd. Jon Moxley, Lance Archer and Rey Fenix, of course, versus the aforementioned Eddie Kingston, Butcher and the Blade. This was fantastic. Instead of being a ridiculously over-the-top garbage wrestling match like it was last week, which I enjoyed, by the way, thought it was good fun, this was just a straight-up 6-man tag match, and it actually worked really well. You had Jake Roberts at ringside, you had Bunny at ringside. They weren't doing it over the top or getting involved too much. They let these guys go in there and show off who they are, and I thought this was actually really fantastic and the most enjoyable match of the night, if not necessarily the best for pure wrestling content. I loved it. I really enjoyed it. It really stood out to me. I really loved the interactions between Jon Moxley and Eddie Kingston. This rivalry just never seems to stop. Eddie Kingston feels legit. He feels real. He feels elite. That's what he feels like. Never mind all that fucking butt buddy, Bullet Club bullshit. I'm here for this kind of stuff. These feel like true men trying to kick the shit out of each other. Lance Archer is a megastar, by the way. He should not be fucking jobbing out to anybody right now. He should be running over so many people in this roster instead of being fed to Kenny Omega. No time for that either. But it was a great match. It was physical. It was violent. Some of the chops, the right hands. I loved Moxley in this match in particular. He is so good without the AEW World title. In fact, if anything, he feels better because he's not the champion. It's almost like the pressure's off him a little bit. But he will get his title rematch because obviously at the end of this match, after he picks up the win, after obviously the faces get a win. By the way, Rey Fenix in this match. He's the best luchador in the world. You heard it here. He's so fucking good. I get an absolute jolly on watching this guy wrestle. I get so giggly like a schoolgirl, mate. I get so excited. Everything he does is so thrillingly exciting. Yeah, he makes botches too, but the thing is, everything else he does is so crazy that you kind of forget that he's botched, and you accept that as part of the parcel. I'm sorry, when I see the Young Bucks flipping around and shit, I think Rey Fenix does it tenfold better than you. So that nullifies everybody else as far as I'm concerned. Leave the crazy shit to Rey Fenix. When he got that hot tag off of Lance Archer, my adrenaline spiked during that. And what was overall a reasonably average AEW Dynamite, but at that point I was marking out like crazy. And I love the fact that JR marks out for him too. JR really puts him over on commentary, and that helps make him feel a lot more authentic in my eyes. But at the end of this match, of course, Kenny Omega and the Good Brothers come down. They lay waste to Jon Moxley. Moxley headbutts Kenny Omega. Kenny Omega, right? He was in a segment earlier in the night in front of school kids. That segment was fucking shit. Okay? I don't want people coming at me in the comments, oh, you just don't know what fun is. What's fun about watching your world champion talk to a bunch of kids trying to put over the Young Bucks? What the fuck is this? You are supposed to be the champion of the world, okay? If you're an AEW fan, Kenny Omega represents the champion of champions. He's supposed to be the champion to you. I don't want to see my champion doing that, even if I hate him, even if he's a heel. That's fucking hot garbage. I thought the golf course was one thing. This was quite another. Alex Marvez rocking up at a school, like, in front of kids. What the fuck's that? It's borderline creepy is what it is. Jesus. Terrible fucking segment. Nakazawa or whatever the fuck. Who's this scrub from DDT? I don't care about him either. He's a fucking joke. He gets beaten up by a load of kids. That segment was fucking stupid. It was trash. You cannot honestly sit there and tell me that Dynamite is better than WWE NXT when they do stuff like this. That was fucking awful. It was pathetic. And if you enjoyed it, well, good for you for enjoying shit. Because it was fucking terrible. No time for that whatsoever. Nor do I want to see him coming down dressed like a fucking reboot from the Village People. What the fuck is he wearing when he comes down and attacks Jon Moxley? And JR saying, oh yeah, those boots are definitely a weapon. Yeah, those boots are made for walking. Walking the fuck off of my TV screen. The state of your leathery boots, mate. Honestly, there are gay cowboys right now. I'm thinking, damn, that's pretty gay. Like, that's really gay. Like, and I've got nothing wrong with that if you're going to present yourself that way, but you're supposed to be a cleaner. You're supposed to be an assassin. You're coming down wearing a frilly D'Artagnan Three Musketeers shirt, leather fucking boots, denim jeans, looking like a fucking Daisy Dukes reject from a charity shop and laying in a V-trigger to what is basically your most legit brawler on your roster. And then you're going to give him a rematch. What rematch are you going to give him? Okay? Think of what you could possibly announce. And what would not sound credible coming out of your mouth looking like that? A barbed wire explosive death match. That's what they're going to have, apparently, at Revolution. Will I watch that? Absolutely. Cannot wait to see what kind of carnival shit goes off there. Is Kenny Omega going to retain? Of course he fucking is. We all know he is. So it's kind of irrelevant in the first place. And obviously it's a good vehicle, a good device to get Jon Moxley off the screen because he's going to be a dad soon. And that's absolutely fine too. But Jesus Christ almighty. You can't even bleed right, mate. You got nutted by Moxley and you got this pathetic little tiny dot of blood. Man, weak. And the really sad thing is, I actually thought this was his best promo. I did. I thought this was one of the best promos I've seen from him because I think he's shit on the microphone. I'm not going to fucking buy into it just because, oh, he's my champion and I love AEW more because they're not run by Vince McMahon. I'm tired of this shit. I'm tired of people acting as if AEW Dynamite is the best show on earth solely because it's not WWE. It has some good things and it does some excellent things. But the fact that AEW fans are out here on social media being toxic, stupid, over-the-top, pathetic bullies attacking anyone who dares say anything negative about their show, I don't give a fuck what you think about me. And I don't give a fuck about your stupid, over-the-top hyperbole. This show is okay. It is not a world beater. There is no way in my mind that it's better than WWE NXT, which is apparently its big comparison. I don't frankly care anyway. I watch NXT live and have a good time. I still watch this because great, I can hoover up some more wrestling and provide you guys with some more content. But I am so tired of people telling me that, you know, Dynamite is definitely the best showing. Every Dynamite's the best Dynamite. No, it isn't. There's been Dynamites that are 10,000 times better than this. Please pull your fucking heads out of your ass. And by the way, I don't need to keep saying this, but I will. The Khans do not care about you. They are Republicans. They helped fund Donald Trump. Stop acting as if they are your fucking dad, your mum and dad combination. It's actually fucking embarrassing. Bad people are everywhere. Go and bury your heads in the sand. The reason that people love AEW so much, let's be honest, is because they want to feel safe and all-inclusive. And ultimately, when I watch wrestling, if I wanted to watch a load of people who look like me wrestle, well, I go and look in the mirror when I wrestle. It's as simple as that. But I sure as hell don't want to turn on WWE and see a load of guys like me, slightly portly, bearded, heavy-set guys bumping into each other. You know, I'm not interested in watching it because it's relatable. I'm interested in watching it because it's an escape from reality. So I don't want to see a bunch of fat useless scrubs like Serpentico and Luffa. I want to see stars like Eddie Kingston. Eddie Kingston is relatable, but at the same time he's so believable. You know he could rip your fucking tits off. He would chop you in the fucking lips and knock your teeth out. And that's what's so great about him. He's relatable in that sense. He's relatable in the sense of you actually believe who he is. You believe what he can do. Same with Lance Archer, same with Jon Moxley to an extent. And you've got exciting stars like Ray Phoenix and Hangman Adam Page. So can we please get rid of the fucking scrubs? I've got no time. I don't want to see Luther and Serpentico. By the way, I sure as hell don't want to see 61-year-old Sting taking a powerbomb off of Brian Cage. What in God's name are you doing? That street fight is going to suck dick, isn't it? I can just tell. By the way, Ricky Starks, Brian Cage, they're stars as well. What the fuck are they doing wasting their time with this bollocks? Seriously. It's a case of you've got a lot of pieces, but you have no idea how to put them together to make a fully working puzzle. That's pretty much what's going on here, and that's all I have to say about AEW Dynamite. Make sure you like, subscribe. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to subscribe, especially because we're getting close to 300 now, which means we're going to be giving away another t-shirt or a piece of art. It's up to you, but we won't be doing that until we get to 300 subscribers, so keep sharing the links. Keep telling people about this crazy half Arab, half English maniac on YouTube who's telling it how it is and being as honest as he can about wrestling. It may not necessarily be everybody's cup of tea, but one thing I really am proud about with this YouTube channel is we give you everything and we try and give it to you with the biggest level of truth that we can. And don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, this Sunday we have a special guest at the Wrestle Plug, and if you haven't watched the Option C video, I highly suggest you do, because ultimately it took a lot of time and effort to make that video, so you're going to bloody well watch it. I'm not going to give away the surprise for you. You can just bloody well wait, or you can watch the video. From myself, Aerons, thank you very much for watching. I'll catch you very soon for more content from the Wrestle Plug.